We have our chairman, Chairman Roberts, John Roberts. We have our director, Denise Lawrence. We have our commissioner, Stan Norton. We have Jim Gavin. And I believe we have someone else on the phone. And I think we have Bob Weaver in the audience. He's on the phone somewhere, I believe. Um, uh, Director Lawrence, do we have the attorney? Are they on?
Yes, sir. We have Erica Smith and Stuart Huffman available via phone with us.
Oh, great, great. All right, well, with that said and done, I'm going to turn the meeting over to Stuart and Eric.
Good morning. This is Stuart.
Morning.
I believe we've had a few questions turned into us, and I guess we can go through a couple of those.
Okay, great.
Pull them up. Hold on one second. And Commissioner Jackson, number 17.
Yes.
I believe you were asking, the respondent has failed to respond to the commission. Has the commission fined anyone for failure to respond? If so, we need to add another fine, and that's number 17 2019 092 141.
That is correct.
Actually, we've talked about this before.
Okay.
The rule actually says that we have to send it certified mail, but that would be very costly if we sent everything certified, especially with the volume that we have.
Okay.
So, Executive Director Lawrence and myself and Ms. Smith, everybody, all the attorneys have talked about changing that rule to where it would actually be just a mailing. We'd take the certified part out.
Okay.
So then it would just be a mailing or actually email, because we do contact these dealers by email probably more frequently than we do by mail. So at this point right now, we cannot fine them or issue a penalty unless we know that we've sent something out certified and they haven't responded to that mailing.
Okay. Is there any other commissioner got any question about that?
Yeah, what if they never respond? This is Commissioner Norton.
Well, if they never respond, we haven't had any of them that haven't ever responded. We usually have found them through email, or eventually they do respond. But we haven't had that situation, actually. At least I haven't since I've been on the board.
Any other commission got any question in reference to number 17? Okay. I'm satisfied with that answer if the other commissions are.
Okay.
Okay.
We're good.
And Commissioner Jackson, you had another question on number 56, 2019 101 671. It's a franchise dealer, and it's a protest that's scheduled to be heard July 14th in front of the commission. The respondent, what they've done now is actually both parties have filed an agreed stay order for the commission not to hear it right now, because they've gone to Chancery Court to get some type of ruling from Chancery Court based on the previous protest, where it was ruled that the commission did not have the authority to hear a franchise termination. However, that rule was changed a few years ago, where you do have the authority, but the respondent has moved this to Chancery Court to get a ruling from the court. the AG's office has actually taken over representing the commission in Chancery Court, and they have filed a motion to dismiss. So now we're just waiting for that motion to be heard. Whether it's going to be dismissed or not, I don't know. We would hope so. And then once it's dismissed, if it's dismissed before July 14th, of course, the commission will probably hear the protest. If it's getting pretty close, then I think the judge will probably want to try to continue it. And that's the ALJ, not the Chancery Court judge. So she'll probably want to continue it to the next meeting.
Great. This Commission Jackson, I was making sure that whatever cases has to come before us should come before us, and that was my concern. And I'm glad to hear the response. Any commissioner got any other question in reference to that case?
Commissioner Galvin, is that the one that was at the last meeting that Jim Cameron represented with that other lawyer?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Moving right along.
Okay, number 15. This is from Chairman Roberts. We received a list of some questions. Number 15. Looks like it was the respondent was licensed in 2001. Pull it up. Hold on.
This Commissioner Jackson, he was licensed. You're right, July 9, 2001.
Right. This is the respondent's first offense. The recommendation was to authorize a $500 civil penalty for unlicensed activity. And Chairman Roberts felt like a letter of warning and no civil penalty would be a better recommendation.
This Commissioner Jackson, I noticed his history of 5 years and no violations. So I would agree with Chairman Roberts. If there are any other commission might have some concern about it, but I didn't pay attention to where he didn't have any violations at all since he's been there for 5 years. Any other commission have any comments on that case?
This Commissioner Norton, I'm assuming he moved the vehicles back to his location.
Erica, that's yours.
Yeah, I don't think we haven't done a follow-up to the inspection that led to this notice of violation. So I can do a letter of warning and we can follow up with another drive-by.
I'd be good with that.
Commissioner Jackson, I'm good with it.
Do we want to do like 15 days? 30 days? Right away?
Well,
15 days.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 15, the recommendation will be changed to a letter of warning and drive-by follow-up in 15 days.
Commissioner Jackson, that sounds good to me.
Okay, the next case is number 19, 2019-098-911. Chairman Roberts said he was okay with a letter of warning, but the facts seem to be out of the dealer's control. That's actually my case. And the only reason why I was going for a penalty against the respondent is because of the late delivery of the title. And a letter of warning is not a actual formal penalty. It's just kind of say, hey, you need to be paying attention to your titles.
Okay.
This Commissioner Jackson, anyone got any other question regarding that number 19? I believe that's what we're looking at. Yes.
This Commissioner Norton, just to make a comment related to that. I mean, we process 7,000 titles a year at our dealerships, and I mean, the banks do create problems, but that to me, that doesn't give the dealer an excuse. They have to take care of the customer, and the law does state you have to do what you have to do. So, you know, I don't think there's an excuse just because the bank doesn't perform. I mean, I think a letter of warning is sufficient, but that's just a comment.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Norton.
Okay, number 20.
Yeah.
2019-099-801. Chairman Roberts says appears acting like a broker. The respondent appears to be acting like a broker and wants to make the recommendation $2,500 and require them to get a dealer's license. This is my case also. I have spoken to this person. I have spoken to their attorney, and he has a few of these type of complaints. It does look like he's trying to broker, but he does have an actual lot with these large trucks. He tried to get a license in the past. However, he has an office, but the office is separate from the lot. He didn't have the money to build a facility on the lot. So he was actually penalized for having his office about a quarter mile from the lot. And that's why he didn't get a license. And so I've been talking to the attorney. They're trying to build a structure on the lot, but he continues to sell. He was supposed to use another dealer for these sales, but he's not. And so that's why I went with a higher penalty to kind of get his attention, to get things rolling and get compliant.
Commissioner Galvin, I agree with the penalty. But my other question is on that is why there's no penalty on the false advertising.
Basically, I'm trying to get this person licensed, and I overlooked the false advertising.
Hey, Commissioner Norton here. On that one, I had that one flagged as well. I mean, obviously, the guy he's apparently keeps selling vehicles when he doesn't have a license. What's the commissioner's course of action in this situation? Is it just a maximum civil penalty, or is there any other course of action for him to cease and desist?
That involves law enforcement. We don't have, the commission doesn't have the authority to. I mean, we could send out a cease and desist letter, but this person has continued to do it, even though I've talked to his attorney, and his attorney is telling me that he's trying to get everything in compliance and licensed. I mean, this person has just continued out there to do exactly what he's doing.
Did Commissioner Norton, did he pay the previous $2,500 penalty?
He's in the process of trying to get the money. That's another issue, is that we keep continuing to fine him, but he's not paying. And if I just keep continuing to fine him, then he comes back and says, well, now I don't have the money to build the structure and get compliant. So it's one of these things. So I'll look into some type of enforcement. But like I said, I'll have to go through the attorney.
I would agree with that.
Commissioner Jackson, any more concern in reference to case 20?
My question is, are we keeping the recommendation 5,000 or?
Well, Chairman, this Commissioner Jackson, he had asked for a reduce of 2,500, but my thoughts is that since he have not paid the previous 2,500 and he's in financial difficulties, and the problem is that he need to build the building where his lot is, where he's selling his trucks here. So I'm a little bit concerned, just like you are, Attorney Huffman, is that we keep finding, he haven't even paid the last penalty fee, rather. I tendency to go with Chairman Roberts, reduce to 2,500 with the recommendation that that the staff will continue to look into it and monitor it.
Commissioner Galvin, Nate, I tend to disagree. I think we need to go to the maximum of the 5,000, considering everything that's been done on this thing. I know if he doesn't have the money, but the fact is that know that he has that amount that needs to be paid on his shoulders. We need to stick with that. I just think that's the right thing to do.
Commissioner Norton here. I mean, it looks like to me if the guy he doesn't have $2,500 to pay a penalty that he was egregious about. I mean, does he have the money to be in business? Period. How could he take care of a customer with a $2,500 problem? You know, just this deal just kind of smells like he's thumbing us pretty bad and not being a responsible individual and insulting what we expect him to do.
I agree.
So.
This Commissioner Jackson, I'll rescind my recommendation and support the recommendation of Commissioner Galvin and Commissioner Norton, and we can move on, keep the fine as it is, and staff can continue to monitor that situation.
Commissioner Norton, I think this is to the table to get a resolution to this. I think this just needs to be resolved one way or the other. Either he's a dude or he's not.
Okay. This Commissioner Jackson, any more questions in regard to that case? Hearing none, we can just move on.
But can I comment before we move on?
Sure.
For those people, I apologize for interrupting the legal report. For those people who've just joined us, please make sure that your audio is on mute until you're speaking so that we won't get any of that feedback from your business or whatever might be going on. And that's the little microphone.
Or left.
The next one was number 66. It says 2020003391. Chairman Roberts felt like the bad facts suggest that this deserves a follow-up on possible curb stoning. This was also my case. So the complainant got this vehicle in a Publix parking lot from a person that said that they were the registered owner. Probably were the registered owner, but they were from another state. They just moved to Tennessee. And the complainant says that he did show a copy of a bill of sale. And on that bill of sale, it had the respondent's name. So that's how the respondent got involved. But after looking into this, the respondent themselves are not a part of this transaction. It's just somehow this complainant saw the name or researched it by a P.O. box. But the respondent themselves, the actual dealer, did not have anything to do with this transaction in the Publix parking lot.
Commissioner Jackson, Chairman Roberts, does that satisfy your question, or does anyone else have any comments? Okay, good. Anyone else got any comment on it, on 66? Okay.
Okay, number 68. This is 2020007691. Recommendation is to authorize a civil penalty of $4,000 for issuing 4 temporary tags on a salvaged vehicle. Chairman Roberts agrees with the $4,000 civil penalty, but also wants to refer to the Department of Revenue for further investigation.
Commissioner Jackson, I agree with that. Commissioner Jackson, does anyone else has any comments on 68? Moving right along.
Number 75. That is 2020006841. Erica, this is yours.
I had already recommended $5,000 civil penalty, which I think, well, that's the maximum. And we wanted to add, I think Chairman Roberts wanted us to consider adding a letter of warning that kind of explains we could have applied a $1,000 civil penalty or however per vehicle that was sold by that unlicensed expired salesperson, which was I think 70. So I thought what I would do is just put that in, since we're going to be sending a consent order, which is the disciplinary warrant itself. In the cover letter, I would explain that, because I don't think, Stuart, can we do a letter of warning and a consent order?
Well, it's kind of meaningless if you do a letter of warning, but you're also doing a civil.
Will do. They're gonna have a hard time getting me. I'm jumping on a motor vehicle meet.
So, you're doing a civil penalty. So that's pretty much your letter. Your.
That'll be good.
But I can, in the cover letter, I will make it very clear that this is what could happen, so they know that if it happens again, that's what they would be looking at.
Very good. Very good.
So what? Number 75. It says a $500 civil penalty.
It does. Sorry, I'm getting there.
Stuart, I have mine up. I show 5,000.
Mine's Commissioner
I should
Jackson,
find
mine
out.
shows 5,000.
I'm looking at a different report, so that's why I think we did change that when we went through the.
Yeah, actually, it was one of the last changes we made.
Okay, so there's no change to 75.
Commissioner Jackson, does any commissioner have any other comments about this case at number 75? If not, we can move on.
Number 84. That is 2020010171. The recommendation is authorized civil penalty of $3,000 for failure to correctly log 6 temporary tags. My recommendation was $500 per temp tag. Chairman Roberts, number 84, suggested to reduce it to $1,500. Letter of warning regarding temp tags, and I think it's kind of the same one. If you're doing a penalty, a letter of warning is not usually what we send.
Okay.
But the recommendation is to reduce to 1,500, so that's up for debate.
Commissioner Jackson, does any commissioner have any comments on number 84? Being reduced to 1,500 versus 2,500, 3,000? No comments?
Commissioner Norton.
Commissioner Norton.
Concur. I concur.
Okay, great.
Number 85. That is 2020009311. Recommendation is to authorize civil penalty of $1,000 for operating on an expired dismantler recycler license. It's actually the second time they've done this, but they did pay their penalty from 2018. And the recommendation from Chairman Roberts is to increase that to a $2,500 penalty since it's a second offense, the same infraction. The reason why I went with $1,000, they did pay their $1,500 penalty for the 2018 offense. And so then I went for a civil penalty of $1,000, but I'm fine with whatever y'all want to do on that.
Hey, Commissioner Norton here. I would certainly encourage the higher penalty, but my question is, has this has this entity made an application for a license, or do they currently have a license?
They, it's showing that it's expired I'd have to look and see if they've actually renewed it.
I think the higher fine would certainly get their attention to come into compliance. We require these folks to have a license. So if they don't have a license or made an application for a license, they're certainly not compliant. Could I ask the staff, what is the maximum penalty on this particular?
It would be 5,000.
Well, I'm going to suggest we hit them pretty hard if they haven't made application for a license and they've already been penalized for this and they're not compliant. I would suggest certainly looking at a much higher penalty. That'll get their attention, and then if they apply, then we can reconsider.
Well, I said that we would do at least 2,500 penalty, but now if you want to do higher, we can do it.
I mean, I think 2,500 would be sufficient. I mean,
Okay.
I think we ought to flag it for a follow-up as well. And of course, add to that, there appears to be many cases involved in this legal review where there's a lot of salvage vehicles sold without rebuilt titles being applied for. So there seems to be, this has popped up over the years. I'm not sure why, but it certainly it's in our scope or our mission to protect the public from such. So 2,500 should be fine.
Okay, this Commissioner Jackson, is everyone in agreement with that? We can move on. Now, let me make sure, are we going to, Attorney Huffman, are we going to do a follow-up to check to see if he has applied for his license? I think that's what Commissioner Norton was indicating earlier. So we need to make sure.
Sure, I'll look it up. I'll look it up, and then when we get to the part where I talk about the changes, I can tell you.
Okay, thank you. Moving along.
The next one was number 94, 2020009361. Recommendation was a penalty of $1,000 or obtain a dealer license within 60 days. Chairman Roberts suggested $1,000 penalty and obtain a dealer license in 60 days and possible referral to Department of Revenue.
Commissioner Jackson, is there?
Go ahead,
Commissioner
Jackson.
Yes, Commissioner Jackson again. Is there any other commissioner has any comment on case 94 based on the recommendation?
Commissioner Norton, I concur with Chair Roberts.
Okay, Ms. Jackson, we can move right along.
Okay. Next one is number 100. Number 100. This has a few complaints. 202000131931 1941 1951 and 2001. The recommendation is to close all the complaints, and I believe Chairman Roberts would wanted to flag this respondent, this dealership is no longer around. It's closed, and it has been flagged. It's been presented many times previously. We've had a lot of complaints about title issues, and we've given surety bond to everybody, and it looks like it's helping everybody out.
Very good.
Any other comments on number 100? Okay, move right along.
Number 108. 2020010011. And the recommendation was to close. Chairman Roberts said to also flag the file should they ever reply for a license.
No, actually, that's that's the one I said, send a letter to respondent explaining curb stoning.
That's right. Sorry, I looked at the wrong one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good with a letter of warning explaining curb stoning. This person is saying that he just has people parking his cars on his property, so he's not actually selling the cars, but I do understand the letter of warning involving curb stoning would be good for this person.
This Commissioner Jackson, we're still talking about 108.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna send this guy a letter of a warning for curb
Explain
stoning.
curb stoning.
I'll just send him a letter.
Okay,
Not really a letter of warning. It'd just be a letter explaining curb stoning.
great.
Number 115. 2020013751. That is
Fine.
Yep.
To Chairman Roberts had made a comment, and asked the question, do we enforce parking on sidewalks? Isn't that a local ordinance? And it may be my fault. I may not have explained it well in my summary, but the issue is this inspector has gone out to this facility a couple times during inspections, and they don't have room for their inventory even. So they're parking some of their inventory on the sidewalk. And we have a rule under, let's see, it's rule 0960-01-.21 under the motor vehicle dealer facilities rule. And it says that the facility shall have immediate and contiguous access to an exclusive dedicated use of a motor vehicle or recreational vehicle storage or display lot capable of accommodating 15 motor vehicle or recreational vehicles of the dealership's product line. A lot shall consist of compacted gravel, chert, stone, or similar materials, and shall not include public lands, unimproved land, or residential driveways. The facility shall also contain a minimum of 3 parking spots dedicated for customer parking. So they also don't have any customer parking, and they're letting the customers park on the sidewalk as well. So it seems like we do have I mean, I'm sure it's also a local ordinance, but we can penalize them because it seems like it's the second inspection in a row. And the inspector just felt like it was really unsafe. So we can give them a warning if that's the way we want to go, or penalize them, or letter of instruction. If anybody has any questions or comments, I'm happy to hear them.
Mr. Norton,
Commissioner Jackson,
go ahead, Nick.
I think that if the inspector has been out there once and saw this incident and went out a second time and saw it a second time, I think I concur with the penalty. That's my comment.
Well, Commissioner Norton here, I have that flag as well. I would suggest staff notify code enforcement because it is an ordinance that they can't park on the sidewalk. They certainly, those guys got a lot more resource to go by and keep an eye on that. But I agree with the still penalty, but I would turn it over to code enforcement, notify them. If they're pretty efficient at sidewalk parking and car dealers.
Okay, I can absolutely refer it as well to codes enforcement.
Commission number 115. Okay, moving right along.
At number 123, 2020013551. The recommendation is to close, and Chairman Roberts to do a letter of warning for failure to disclose a gray market vehicle. In this case is mine. This is lady turned in her American car and traded a Canadian model. And if she would have known that, she wouldn't have traded her car. However, the complainant alleged that the warranty wasn't good in the United States. However, the manufacturer and the respondent did provide proof that the warranty is good in the United States, and that's why I decided to close this one. But we can do a letter of warning.
I concur. I think a letter of warning is appropriate. This is Commissioner Norton. It's relevant to the value of the vehicle, regardless of the warranty status. A lot of your banks will not finance a Canadian vehicle. There's a lot of issues regarding that. So I agree. I see in the previous 5-year history there's a complaint against false, fraudulent, or deceptive practices. To me, lack of disclosure of a otherwise known as a gray market car is deceptive. It's pretty common, and that's understood in our industry as well.
Commissioner Jackson, anyone got any more comments? Okay. Not here.
And I agree with that. When I've got Chairman Roberts' questions, and I saw that, I agree with Commissioner Norton. The next one is 129. It is 2020016401. This is the recommendation is to close, and Chairman Roberts asked, "What about failure to deliver title?" And this is my case also. And the only reason why I went to close and not do a letter of warning on the failure to deliver title is that it still was within 30 days when they mailed out the required paperwork.
Okay.
Commissioner Jackson, any comments or concern on number 129?
Next one is 156. $2019-034-641. The recommendation is to close and flag. Chairman Roberts, with no finding of fault, why flag the dealership? The former employee, yes. And in this case, the respondent's former employee was involved in a scheme without the respondent's knowledge or consent to purchase any vehicles on behalf of that respondent. The court determined there were no enforceable contracts between the complainant and the respondent, and all the vehicles involved, including the one subject to this complaint, were repossessed and in the complainant's possession. There are no further claims of complainant against the respondent. There was no liability found against the respondent, and the complainant has informed the commission that it wishes to dismiss this complaint. So everything has been resolved. The respondent was not involved with the scheme. It was that former employee. The former employee, I know, has had some enforcement against them based on the court, and also I'm not sure if that person was arrested, but I know that there are some legal matters against that person.
Commissioner Norton, I had one question just regarding that case. Was the former employee a licensed salesperson for the respondent?
Yes.
Wow, I have a hard time understanding how that flew by without any liability there. I know I've got a lot of salespeople, and that would probably fall under my scope. If it was under my nose and my watch, but that's just my observation.
Commissioner Jackson, any more comments or concern?
Okay. The last one, Chairman Roberts questions is 171. And that is
Chairman Arbor.
2019-074241 and 2019-075691. Recommendations: issue a letter warning explaining fees issue and further issue a bulletin to the TNIADA and TAA concerning the fees to be charged in their next newsletters. And Chairman Roberts recommended a $1,000 civil penalty, which would be $250 per bill of sale that was seen, and plus a letter of warning plus bulletin to the trade associations.
Commissioner Norton, if I could comment on this one. And I agree with Chairman Roberts as far as I think there needs to be a fine related to this, because I'm very aware of these of this issue being a problem. And this one has many concerns for me. One of them is the fact that I don't buy an excuse that we don't know we're not supposed to charge an additional fee. Okay, the laws are clear to clearly state what we can and cannot do, and then also, which not even mentioned in this, is whether or not that fee or his processing fee was included in his advertised sales price. So I thought this was a pretty big swing, going from a substantial fine to a letter of warning, and being the fact that this, as far as using an excuse to talk about what other dealers knew or didn't know, was, to me, was very weak, the explanation. So I took an objective to this one, and I concur with Chairman Roberts. I think there needs to be a fine, but in my opinion, this guy got off light. The fact that probably none of this was disclosed properly in his advertised price as well.
Commissioner Jackson, I concur. Any other commissioner got any concern on 171? Hearing none, back to Attorney Hoffman.
And also, I'd like to say that this is an issue, and it's something that I will be looking into. And I believe that
Stuart, we have one more.
Yeah.
That Commissioner Jackson had a question about number 150, which is 2019-020-041. And the question was, would this dealer have to deal with this matter if they ever reapplied, and this $8,250 civil penalty for the unlicensed, for acting unlicensed as a dealer, not as the dismantler necessarily. And they absolutely would. We already have it flagged on their record. So if they ever tried to come back and get their dealer license, they would have to deal with this civil penalty and resolve this matter one way or another, whether it's by consent order or hearing, before they could be licensed.
Commissioner Jackson, wonderful.
Does that answers everything?
Yes, that answers mine.
Okay, great.
I believe that's concluded. Does anyone have any other comments about any of the cases? Not hearing any other comments. Attorney Hoffman, I hope you were keeping good notes on the changes. I was doing my best, so when we go to the regular meeting, we got to approve all these changes. So I kept a few notes, so we work together, so I help you out.
All right, I appreciate that. I do have the notes, and also, y'all need to do a motion on the committee.
This Commissioner Jackson, do I have a motion to accept the legal report subject to the approval of the entire commission with the correction?
So moved.
Second,
name.
Commissioner Norton.
Chairman Roberts.
Commissioner
have a
Norton,
second?
second.
Okay. All in favor of the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, so ordered. We conclude the legal report at 9:15 a.m. Sorry, Chairman Roberts and Director Lawrence, we went over a little bit, but good questions. Excellent questions.
Hey, this is Chairman Roberts. Let's take a 5-minute break and we'll start at 9:20.
Great.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion. Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Did I hear a comment,
Can you hear me?
Commissioner Jackson?
Hello?
Jim, is that you?
It was me a few moments ago saying that we'll take a 5-minute break.
Okay.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yes, yeah, I hear you.
Okay, good.
Or was I on mute?
You're on mute, John.
Am I on now?
There you go.
Okay, sorry about that.
Good.
Did y'all hear any of my beginning?
No.
Okay. All right. This is a regular quarterly meeting for the Motor Vehicle Commission. It's April 28th, 2020, and it is now 9:22 a.m. And I would like for Executive Director Lawrence to call roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I hope everyone can hear me. First, let me say that this meeting's date, time, and location have been noticed on the Tennessee Motor Vehicle Commission website, included as part of this year's meeting calendar since October 22nd, 2019. Additionally, the agenda for this month's meeting has been posted on the website since April 23rd, 2020. This meeting has also been noticed on the tn.gov website. And now I will call the roll. Commissioner Lee,
Here.
Commissioner Galvin,
Here.
Commissioner West, I think he's here, he's just still on mute, so I will come back to him. Commissioner Fox,
Here.
Commissioner Kramer, Commissioner Kramer, on mute, so I will come back to him. Commissioner Fox, here. Commissioner Jackson,
Here.
Commissioner Mel. Commissioner Kramer. I'm sorry. Commissioner Melton.
Here.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Melton. Commissioner Murray. Commissioner Norton.
Here.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Here.
Commissioner Tomaso.
Here.
Commissioner Levy.
Here.
Commissioner White. Commissioner Evans.
Here.
Commissioner Barker.
Here.
Commissioner Chobanian.
Here.
Was Commissioner Barker here? I apologize.
Commissioner West is here. I was double muted.
Thank you. Double muted. Okay. And Chairman Roberts.
Yes, everyone was mailed an agenda for the commission meeting, and what's your pleasure on on accepting that?
Commissioner Jackson, I adopt the agenda for today.
Commissioner Galvin.
Was that a second?
Commissioner Galvin, second.
Okay, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And approval of the minutes from the 2020, from the January 2020 quarterly commission meeting.
Was that a second?
Do we have a motion and a second?
Commissioner West, second.
Do you have that, Executive Director Lawrence?
I do.
Okay. Any further discussion on the minutes? Let's call a roll on that.
Commissioner Levy.
Yes.
Okay, we're going to start the roll call over again on adoption of the minutes. And if you're not talking, please mute your microphone. Commissioner Levy,
Yes.
Commissioner West,
Yes.
Commissioner White, Commissioner Murray, Commissioner Melton,
Yes.
Commissioner Chobanian, Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker, Commissioner Fox,
Yes.
Commissioner Galvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Norton,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn, Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer,
Yes.
Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Tomaso, Chairman Roberts.
Yes. Okay, next, we have salesperson, and dealer appeals.
Yes.
Excuse me?
We're good.
Someone say something? Okay, if without objection, I want to hear Raymond Hawk today first. We have State Representative Jeremy Faison that probably needs to get back to some duties at the Capitol, but I would like to do that if there's no objection.
Chairman Roberts, this is Maria Bush. Are you okay if I read the usual excerpt that I read?
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry about that.
You're totally fine. So for the case of Mr. Raymond Hawk, the documented conviction is for conducting a racketeering enterprise on April 1st, 2009. The applicant received a Class D felony and was ordered to serve 9 years in prison. This application may be denied under TCA 5517-14A1C until January 19th, 2025.
Okay, is Mr. Hawk on the line with us?
Yes. Yes.
He is, okay. Mr. Hawk, would you like to address us at this time?
I would. Thank you.
Okay.
I have submitted the application. My fiance is the dealer. She owns the dealership. I would like to assist her in her business. She has another full-time job. She's not able to be there during the day. If I could obtain a salesman's license, I would just be assisting her. I do not own the business. She owns it. It has been 11 years since I was charged in my crime. I have been out of prison since 2016. I have moved forward with my past, and I've had no issues whatsoever. While I was on probation, I was let off early from the federal judge that I was sentenced by. I would like to be able to obtain the salesman's license.
Any comments from any of the commissioners?
Commissioner Jackson, could I hear from the sponsor?
That would be me. I'm Andrea Parker. And like he said, I do have another full-time job, and The business of the car lot actually helps me to be able to send my daughter to college. She's wanting to be a vet. So, like you said, I work a full-time job. I try to get there as early in the afternoons as I can to work the car lot business and on the weekends. It would help me tremendously if I had someone there during the day when I can't be there. Have every bit of confidence in Ray. We've been together for a few years now. I really feel like he's turned himself around. He's very supportive of me and my daughter. He's a very good father and grandfather to his children and grandchildren. We do try to do the best that we can as far as, going to church when we can and be good citizens. I really think that his past is his past, and have every confidence in him.
Commissioner Galvin, Mrs. Parker, how long have you owned the car lot?
Since 2018, so a little over 2 years.
And is Mr. Hawken to be the only salesperson, or do you have other salespeople there as well?
I do have one other salesperson. He's not there very often, but his name is Randy Garner.
So, and how many is it a small lot, or explain?
Very small, yeah. It's very small.
Mr. Hawk, have you sold vehicles before?
Yes, I've had a dealer's license in the past, and I also had a salvage permit.
Any other questions for them before we hear from the next character reference? If not, then is State Representative Jeremy Faison on the phone? On the call?
Mr. Chairman, this is Director Lawrence. I just heard from Representative Faison that he was not able to join the call as of right now.
Okay. Anybody else here for this matter?
This is John Barker. I'm on the call now. So I apologize. I'm having Wi-Fi issues. I'm on my iPad now.
Commissioner Galvin, I'd like to make a recommendation. We grant Mr. Hawk his salesman's license.
Commissioner Daniel will second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? Let's have a roll call vote on this. Executive Director Lawrence, would you call the roll for this vote?
I will do so, and I apologize. I'm trying to make notes on my makeshift desk.
I understand. This is the first time for me too.
And I will call the roll now on the motion by Commissioner Galvin and seconded by Commissioner Chobanian to grant licensure to Mr. Hawk. Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Commissioner West?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Melton?
Yes.
Commissioner Chobanian?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Barker?
Yes.
Commissioner Fox?
Yes.
Commissioner Galvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Norton?
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer?
Yes.
Commissioner Barker? Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Tomaso? And Chairman Roberts? Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer?
Yes.
And the motion passes.
Yes.
Right.
Mr. Hawk, Mr. Hawk, we will get your license processed as quickly as possible. Please understand you're not going to get a copy of it mailed to you yet since we're not in the office, but we will email you a copy.
Thank you. And I want to thank the chairman and all the commissioners for giving me the opportunity.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Carrie Kenworthy from Nissan of Paris, Tennessee.
Thank you. This is Maria Bush again. In the case of Ms. Carrie Kenworthy, the documented convictions are for obtaining controlled substance by fraud, 3 counts of worthless checks, less than $500, more than $500, but less than $1,000, theft of property greater than $10,000, but less than $60,000, and 5 counts of theft of property greater than $1,000, but less than $10,000. From the documents received by the commission, it appears that the applicant received 1 Class C felony, 2 Class D felonies, and 2 Class E felonies. This application may be denied under TCA 551714 A1C until April 14th, 2025.
Oh my God.
Is Kenworthy here?
Yes, sir.
Okay, would you like to address us at this time?
Yes, sir. I want to start by saying all of this was in my past. I was an addict for years. But selling cars has given me a purpose of who I am. It's allowed me to take care of my children. It's something that I love and can be proud of. And I'm not proud of my past at all. I have paid all of my debts in full. And all I'm asking for is the chance to, be a productive member of society.
Okay. Do you have anybody here with you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Albert Wynn. I'm the GM here at Nissan of Paris.
Okay, tell us about, are you?
All I can speak of is her short time here. I don't know of her past. I've sought out in the community about her past. She's admitted to her past. She hasn't lied about it. What I've gathered is she's been clean and sober for 4 years. She goes to every 3 months to meet with her probation officer. And she showed up to work on time. She was at work every day. And I can't speak for her past. I can only speak for her future. And I'm not going to employ somebody that is going to fraud people and lie, cheat, and steal. So if she's given the opportunity and she fails, she won't be here. But I think she deserves the opportunity. She's shown me that, from what I can tell, from a business standpoint, that she's seen the error of her ways and hopefully will continue down that straight and narrow path.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the commissioners?
Commissioner Vaughn, I have questions for Ms. Kenworthy.
Yes, ma'am.
The questions I have for you, have you been in any trouble since this situation? What is your one-day thing? Are you going to any kind of meetings, AA, things like that? And are you still associating with the same people?
No, ma'am, I do not associate with the same people. I have not been in any trouble. After I was incarcerated, the day that I was let out, I went to a Christian rehab in Athens, Tennessee, and completed that before coming home. And I fought for my children. I have my children back, but I haven't been a person that I could be proud of, or that they could be proud of. And when I started selling cars, I love it. I love working with people, but helping them and not just being honest, not being a cheat, a liar, and a thief. I was not a good person at all, or a person that I was proud of.
Also, have you made restitution to whoever it is that you?
Yes, ma'am. Everything is paid in full.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Norton for Ms. Kenworthy. So are you doing any ongoing maintenance, attending any regular meetings for addiction?
Actually, I go to church, but it's kind of hard in this. It is a small town. I haven't had any mess ups or anything like that, but that we have a small place that does help people in addiction, and I have been asked, kind of reaching out and helping others that are coming through addiction.
Mr. Norton, again, how long have you been clean from drugs?
Over 4 years.
That's all I have.
Anyone else?
Commissioner Vaughn, I'd like to make a motion that we grant the license.
Commissioner Chebanian seconded.
Any further discussion? Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for the vote?
Sorry, I'll unmute myself. This roll call vote is on approving the issuing the license to Carrie Kenworthy for salesperson. Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Commissioner West?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Melton? Commissioner Chobanian?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Barker?
Yes.
Commissioner Fox?
Yes.
Commissioner Galvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Norton?
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer? Commissioner Fox?
Yes.
Commissioner Galvin? Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Tomaso? And Chairman Roberts?
Yes.
The motion carries.
Yes.
Okay.
And Ms. Kenworthy, as if you were listening as before, we will process your application for licensure immediately and get that to you as soon as possible. Again, you'll receive an electronic copy of your license, and we will mail out the physical license a little later on.
Thank you so much.
My question is, when can she go back to selling cars? Once she receives her license, or?
The minute she receives her license and the minute we hang up from here, we will get that processed immediately and email it to you.
Okay, because I sent her home on the day of denial, so she can't come back until she receives her license, correct? Okay.
That's correct.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good luck.
And Chairman Roberts, if I might interject before we go to the next case, I believe Assistant Commissioner Toby Compton is on with us, and he wanted to say something before he needed to leave.
Okay.
Hey guys, it's Toby. Good morning. Thank you all for assembling online. I know it's not ideal, but just from times past, I'll say that these board and commission meetings, when they're done in this manner, the kinks get worked out, people get comfortable, and we're able to go about the business for the Motor Vehicle Commission. So thank you all for being here this morning. Just a couple quick things. Denise and Jason and Barry and the other staff members from Motor Vehicle, they did a great job transitioning to the work from home environment. Our department, Commerce and Insurance, and particularly the Regulatory Boards Division, was a really early leader in the work from home model. And so we've been able to transition very well. And so the building will be closed until May 26th. So we're going to continue working remotely for the next, 5 weeks or so. And then we'll do kind of a restart plan where we probably will phase into the building over a period of time. The other thing I'd like to praise is the legal team. You know, Stuart, Maria, and Erica have done a great job keeping up and being in touch. So we thank them. They did a great job. Enjoy hearing the legal report, most of it this morning. So good job, guys. Across the division, we're obviously seeing our numbers trend downward. That's for all of our different programs. That's probably not a surprise. We're particularly seeing fewer new applications come in, and that's true of motor vehicle, and not a surprise to all of you guys in the industry, and just where we are with the economy right now and with the state. But I anticipate and fingers crossed hope that things will certainly improve as the governor and the Economic Recovery Group go about reopening businesses. So we're going to really track the numbers very carefully over the next couple months to see where we go, and I think that will provide a better snapshot for where we are across the division and with Motor V for sure. But yeah, thank you all so much for your service, your time, and your commitment. Hodgin has done a great job as commissioner, reaching out and being engaged with the different programs and the senior staff. And we continue to, I think, across our division and across the department, we're serving the public. You know, the only thing that we're not able to do is have people come into the building, the walk-in clients, which Motor Vehicle Commission gets some of those from time to time. And, you know, as Denise alluded to earlier, we're not able to print out certain things just because we don't have the accessibility in the building. But otherwise, our responses to customers remain very on point and on time. Those metrics are holding up well. And I think by and large, we're assisting the public in a very at a very high level and in a good manner. So I just wanted to say hello, Chairman Roberts. Thank you for giving me the time. Denise, thank you for giving me the time. I just kind of wanted to check in, and if anybody has any questions for me, I'd be happy to kind of field those, or if later on offline you want to reach out, please by all means do. It's great to hear from you guys and know what's going on. So thank you all so much. Any questions? Thoughts?
I just have a comment. Commissioner Compton, I just want to thank you for being so involved with Motor Vehicle Commission. You do a good job supporting us.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. Anyone else? Well, I'm going to hop over to a different meeting. I spend my life on Zoom and Webexes and conference calls these days. But it was good to be with you guys this morning. Don't hesitate to reach out if I can do anything, or if you need to go to Carter, he's always available as well. So thank you guys. I hope you all have a great day. Be safe out there.
Okay, let's resume.
Chairman,
okay.
I apologize for interrupting one last time. I just wanted to let everyone know I actually did just get a message from Representative Faison. I think he may have tried to log in as we were in the middle of it. He wanted me to share with you his gratitude that the commission saw fit to issue license to Mr. Hawk, and wanted to share with you all his confidence in him. So I just wanted to share that one comment before we go forward.
Thank you. Okay, next is Richard Heatherly from Viles Auto Group, Powell, Tennessee. Maria, you got some info for us?
Again, this is Maria Bush. So in the case of Mr. Richard Heatherly, the documented conviction is for theft. It appears that the applicant received a Class C felony and was ordered to 3 years of supervised probation. This application may be denied under TCA 5517-14 A1C until December 8th, 2024.
Okay, Mr. Heatherly, is he here?
Yes.
Would you like to address us?
Yes, this is Richard Heatherly. I would like to obtain a license for Viles Automotive. I'm not proud of my past. I got in trouble in 2016 and I've not had any issues. Completed my 3 years probation sentence, and I've not had any type of issues, and I've turned my life around 180 degrees.
Did you bring someone with you from the dealership?
Yes.
Would he
Hi,
like to
this
address
is-
us?
Yes, sir. This is Betsy Boswell. I'm the controller at Biles Automotive. Richard has worked for us in the past, and also years and years ago, I have previously worked with him. He did have a bad job 2 years ago, but apparently has had no issues in the past 4 or 5 years. We would very much like to have him back here if you would allow it.
Okay, any of the commissioners have questions?
Commissioner Vaughn, I have a few questions. Could you expand upon exactly what happened with the charges? Richard.
Yes, it was theft of a vehicle.
Can you tell me more about what happened? It's Commissioner Vaughn.
Actually, a friend had purchased the vehicle or got the vehicle, and he had called me, and I had got the vehicle from him, and the vehicle was stolen.
Can you tell us more about what happened, how the charges were filed? And did you make restitution?
I did. Yes, I did.
You served time too.
Yes, I served 97 days in jail over it.
Have you had any other issues?
No, ma'am.
And were there any complaints ever filed against you to the Motor Vehicle Commission?
No, ma'am.
Other commission members?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, this is Commissioner Fox. On my notes here on page 8 at the bottom, we've got special conditions. And it says the defendant is ordered to have no contact with Bill Riley or Biles Automotive. But now he's asking for a job. Can you explain why this is on there, Mr. Heatherly?
I'm not for sure about Biles Automotive. Bill Riley was he was the owner of the truck.
Okay. I just thought it was odd that you'd have no contact with Biles, then you're asking for a job with Biles.
I have worked with Gary Biles since early 2000. I worked with him 9 years at Ray Biles Ford. He went into his own business, and I worked with him in 2015 before all this happened.
Okay. So you don't know why this would be on there as a special condition?
I don't.
No, this is Betsy, and I'm the controller here. I have received a check from the state of Tennessee for restitution for Richard Heatherly, and I have not yet reached out to them to find out why it is he's been ordered to pay us restitution, because from my memory he had no violations against us. And of course we have no issue with him. We see what he's done with his life in the past few years, and we've known him a long time. And as I said before, we would welcome him back if allowed.
Okay, I wouldn't say anything. I know Gary Biles, he's a fine fella, and I was just curious why this was on there. So that's all.
Gary Biles,
Okay.
he's aware of our thing, and he's in support of it as well.
Any other comments?
Commissioner Vaughn, is there an explanation from the legal staff on why it does say that he needs to stay away from Biles Automotive? No contact is what it says.
I'm not sure why, and that might have been a condition during the time of his probation. But as for presently, I'm not really sure why that would be on there.
Commissioner Norton, would that have to be cleared up since it's part of the order before we grant him his license?
Maria, could you speak to that?
Yes, and I just wanted to say one thing about this memo. So when Sarah Page was the attorney for the commission, this memo was issued, and so I need to go back and look and get clarity on this particular condition that is being referenced, and I can reach out to the local authority on that and provide you all with clarity on that matter.
I guess if we were so inclined to approve this morning, it would have to be on the condition that this is cleared up first.
And that would be fine. In the event that something does come up, I'll be sure to notify you all.
Maria, this is Commissioner Vaughn. I have one more question for you. It says on his application for the appeal, it said, "Are you still being sponsored by the dealership listed on the denial salesperson application?" And it's marked no. Is there a reason for that? Or, I mean, who can answer that one? Because, I mean, obviously they're here, but it's saying he's not still sponsored by them.
This is Betsy at the dealership. That might have been an error because we do support him.
And is he, Betsy, this is Commissioner Vaughn, is he still working at the dealership currently?
No, he is not.
Okay.
This is Commissioner West. I suppose we can vote to approve, and then the only caveat would be if legal has issue with that little thing at the bottom there. I mean, instead of having to wait till summertime, right?
Yes, and I'll just say I'll reach out to, like I said, the judge and just get clarity on whether or not we can proceed with this.
Okay. Move to approve. This is Charles. Move to approve.
This is Commissioner Fox. I'll second it.
That is with the condition that we get clarity on that item of that we were talking about.
Yes.
Okay. Further discussion. Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for the vote?
Okay, and this is a vote to approve the licensure of Richard Heatherly. Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Commissioner West?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Melton?
Yes.
Commissioner Tribanian?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Barker?
Yes.
Commissioner Fox?
Yes.
Commissioner Galvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Norton?
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer? Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Tomaso? And Chairman Roberts?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes. Mr. Heatherly, again, after we get clarity on that one issue, we will issue your license as quickly as possible and get an electronic copy of that to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, best of luck. And
Thank you.
Moving right along. Next is Stephen Edwards from Jim Carris Chevrolet, Memphis, Tennessee.
Hello?
This is Maria Bush. In the case of Mr. Stephen Edwards, the documented conviction is for first-degree murder on November 14, 1996. From the documents received by the commission, it appears that the applicant received a Class Y felony and was ordered to 40 years in prison. Mr. Edwards was granted early release and will be on supervised probation until November 2036. This application may be denied under TCA 55-1714 A1C until November 2041.
Okay, Mr. Edwards, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Would you like to address us at this time?
Yes, I would. I'd just like to say that obviously the conviction was in 1996. I was 16 years old at the time. I was merely an accomplice to the crime, which doesn't make it any better, but I didn't actually participate in the crime. And I spent 19 years incarcerated. During my incarceration, I earned my GED, I got an associate's degree, and I became the first inmate in the history of the Arkansas Department of Corrections to earn a bachelor's degree from Ohio University. I have letters of recommendation from the governor of Arkansas, Mr. Asa Hutchinson, and also from the judge who sentenced me, Mr. David Burnett. They both support me, and I've been doing well. I haven't been in any more trouble. I've changed my life. I was a child when it happened. I'm 40 years old now, and I would like the opportunity to sell vehicles if y'all would give it to me.
Okay, who did you bring with you from the dealership?
My name is Trey Gray. I'm the general sales manager here at Jim Carey Chevrolet.
Would you like to just address us and talk to us about Mr. Edwards?
Yes, sir, I would. Just give you a little background. I came to Jim Carey Chevrolet in 2010 after I got out of the Army. I was an infantry squad leader and served 27 months over in Iraq. So I'm pretty strict on rules and how you should operate and perform the standard. Since Stephen came here, he's been a model employee. He's showed up on time. He's done everything that's been asked of him, going above and beyond, his regular duties. Like I said, when he got denied, I kept him on because he's such a good employee as a lot porter to help out around the dealership until we can get this matter resolved. He has the support of Ben Karras and Jay Karras, the owners of the dealership. Like I said, knowing what I know about Mr. Edwards and having the letters of recommendation from both the governor of Arkansas and the sentencing judge, I don't know what more I could personally say other than just the time that I have known him. He's been nothing but, like I said, a model employee.
Okay. That it for you all as far as comments you got or information? Now let's move to the commission members and see what the commissioners' questions might be.
Commissioner Vaughn, I have a few questions for Stephen. Are you still associating with the people that you were around before? I know you said they were in Arkansas, but are you still associated with anybody?
No, ma'am, that's been 24 years ago. I don't even know those people.
Okay. I have no other questions.
Any other comments? Questions?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the license.
Commissioner Fox, I'll second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you call the roll for the vote?
I will indeed, and this is a vote to approve licensure for Mr. Stephen Edwards and Commissioner Levy.
Yes.
Commissioner West.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Melton.
Yes.
Commissioner Chobanian.
Yes.
Commissioner Lee.
Yes.
Commissioner Barker.
Yes.
Commissioner Fox.
I'm sorry, yes.
Commissioner Galvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Norton.
Abstain.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Kramer, Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Tomaso, and Chair Roberts.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson. The motion carries. Again, Mr. Edwards, we will process your license as quickly as we can and get that to you electronically.
Okay, we're ready to move on.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Tony Barnes from Wyatt Johnson Ford in Nashville, Tennessee. Maria, could you give us a report?
This is Maria Bush. In the case of Mr. Tony Barnes, the documented conviction is for theft up to $1,000 on January 7th, 2019. It appears the applicant received a Class A misdemeanor and was ordered to pay $600 in restitution. His application may be denied under TCA 551714 A1C January 12, 2024.
Okay. Mr. Barnes, are you with us? Mr. Barnes, are you on the line? Executive Director Lawrence, can you check that out and see where they are? Because I think I've seen what I thought was Brent Adams in the background.
Yes, I do see that he's on. Is he?
Can you hear us?
Yes.
He's on mute. You can hear?
We can now, so make sure you're not on mute. So we have Mr. Barnes on the line?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Would you like to address us?
Yes, sir, I would.
Okay.
I got in trouble in December 2018, and I was arrested in January 2019, and I did a few days in the county jail. And what happened was I had an associate, gave me a phone. He, unknowing that how he acquired the phone, I sold the phone to and it was the first mistake that big mistake that I've ever made in my life. I finished college that same year in May 2019 and got my business administration degree. And now I was working at Wyatt Johnson Ford, and I feel like, I really belong here, and I feel like I was doing a great job, and I feel like, it helped me provide for my 9-month-old child, and I just want to get back to that. That's the only thing that really matters.
Who'd you bring with you, Mr. Adams?
Hello. Good morning.
Been a while, my friend. Would you like to?
Yes.
About Mr. Barnes?
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and commissioners. Whenever we interviewed Tony, he had to go through a 3-interview process, 3 different managers, and it was a unanimous selection. He was upfront and forward about the mistake that he made, told us about it from day one, from the time he filled out an application. He's very mannerly, very polite, very good with people, has never said anything negative from the time he worked here. We did receive the document that said the denial. We immediately took him off the sales floor and thought so much of him that we gave him a job as a porter and a lock technician until this time right now. We just ask that his appeal be granted, and he's a fine young man. And I think for those of you who know my reputation, I would not be here unless I really believed in him.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Commission members, do you have questions?
Commissioner Norton, I make a motion to grant his license.
Commissioner Tribanian seconded.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, would you call the roll for the vote?
And the motion is for licensure of Mr. Barnes, Commissioner Levy,
Yes.
Commissioner West,
Yes.
Commissioner White, Commissioner Melton, Commissioner Chobanian,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Fox,
Yes.
Commissioner Galvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Norton,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer, Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Tomaso,
Yes.
and Chairman Roberts.
Yes.
Again, Mr. Barnes, your application for licensure has been approved by the commission. We will get that processed as quickly as possible and send you an electronic copy.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you to the commission. I appreciate this opportunity.
Hope you do well.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on, we have Mr. Mario Mitchell from Nashville Cars Automotive, Nashville, Tennessee.
This is Maria Bush. In the case of Mr. Mario Mitchell, the relevant documented conviction is for aggravated stopping on June 19, 2014. It appears the applicant received a Class E felony and was ordered to 4 years of supervised probation. This application may be denied under TCA 55-17-14 A1C until January 18, 2027.
Okay, Mr. Mitchell, are you with us?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
We would like for you to address the commission, okay?
Okay. I'm here to apply for a salesman license.
Can you adjust your camera just a little bit so we can see your face?
Okay, what about this?
Very
Okay.
good.
So yes, I'm here to apply to get my salesman license, trying to get gainful employment. I've been in the car business when I started back in 2004. I had some hiccups along the way. I went through a tumultuous divorce. And so now I'm just trying to get my life back on track and move forward.
Okay. Did you bring someone with you?
Yes, I have the owner of Nashville Cars Automotive right here with me.
Would you introduce yourself and address us?
Yes, sir. I'm Timothy Buchanan of Nashville Cars, the owner.
Okay. What would you have to say about Mr. Mitchell?
Yeah, I'm good friends of him, and I heard about, I knew about the situation, but he done moved forward and he done bailed himself, and he had me, could I give him a shot back in, in the car business? And I said, well, everybody deserves a second chance.
Okay.
And I ain't heard no previous from him, so ready to move forward. Let's give him a shot.
All right, commission members, what would you like to ask?
Commissioner Vaughn, I have a question about unpaid fines and that he's had a sales license revocation. Is that correct?
Yes. So in 2014, I had my own lot before my divorce. And what happened is my license expired. I changed from one name to another because of some legal things with the divorce. And I didn't change my license from Music City Wholesale to Nashville Automotive. And so my license were expired. And at the time I had lost track of that part of it. So I was fined for selling without a license. And so on today, I'm prepared to pay the entire civil penalty, which is the remaining $6,000. I can make that payment today if the board is able to grant me a salesman license.
Can you tell us a bit more about the stalking charge?
Sure. Well, there was an order of protection between my ex-wife and myself. It was a 7-year order of protection. It said the order of protection expires next month, so it's less than a month left. We lived on the same we lived in the same neighborhood and we worked on the same street, and so she filed a stalking charge against me. She said I followed her down the same street. And so subsequently, after it was a 2014 situation, trial initially, found not guilty, went to another court 3 years later, and there was a deal that the district attorney made to settle the entire case because it had been in the courts for 5 years, and I just took a plea to settle because I wanted to put it behind me.
Okay. I have to share with you my concern. My concern is that you just said you weren't going to pay the fine unless we approved your sales license. I think not paying your fine to begin with is a serious issue, and I have a problem with that. And then also the issue with the stalking, I would assume that you don't have any further issues with your ex-wife. Is that correct?
I have here, yes, I'm gonna address both issues. I do not have any issues with my ex-wife. It was basically a custody battle. We have joint custody now. So all of our legal issues are behind us. It took 5 years, but I'm engaged and she's married. And so we've all gone our separate ways. Now, what I was saying is with the $6,000 penalty, that's a lot of money to come up with. I can come up with all of it right now, and because I can go to work and kind of recoup that money. Because right now, with the economy the way it is in the family, $6,000 is a lot. But I know that I can't get back in to get my license without paying it. So that was I want to say that for clarity.
Okay. I have one further question for your employer.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you had any issues in the past with the Motor Vehicle Commission?
No, ma'am.
So your license is in good standings?
Yes, ma'am. I can give you my updated business. I can share my updated business license right now.
How long have you been in the automotive business?
It's 2000.
Roughly.
5 years. So, open up. 2014 was 15, heavy 15.
Okay.
Because it's been 5 years.
Okay. I don't have any further questions.
This is Commissioner West. I have a question for legal. Are we able to approve a license contingent upon him repaying past due fines to this board?
Yes, and that would be my recommendation, that the motion would be that the license is granted contingent on complying with the consent order that was previously signed, and also full payment of the civil penalty. I'm not sure if Stuart would like to say anything to echo that, but that's my recommendation.
No, I agree with Maria.
Any other comments from commissioners?
Commissioner Jackson, I motion that we grant him the license.
Commissioner Vaughn, second. With the contingent on the
Contingent on him paying the fine. That's correct.
Any further discussion?
Yeah.
Executive Director Lawrence, would you call the roll for the vote?
Okay, the motion is for licensure contingent on payment of any fines being paid in full. Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Commissioner West,
Yes.
Commissioner White,
Yes.
Commissioner Melton,
Yes.
Commissioner Chobanian,
Yes.
Commissioner Lee,
Yes.
Commissioner Barker,
Yes.
Commissioner Fox, Commissioner Galvin,
Yes for Fox.
Yes.
okay, Commissioner Norton,
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn,
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer, Commissioner Evans,
Yes.
Commissioner Tomaso, and Chairman Roberts. Commissioner
Yes.
Jackson. The motion carries. Mr. Mitchell, we will again get your license processed and we will email you an electronic copy. The hard copy will be coming later in the mail.
Any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you got a comment?
Yes, I do.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
I was just wondering, since this the virus stuff going on, falls our tags expire in May. So does our dealer tag is they gonna extend our dealer, they expire in May, our tags itself. They gonna extend them? Or what we do, I mean, as far as getting the 21 tags.
Denise, would you comment on that?
I'm sorry, let me unmute myself. All of that has been extended to June 15.
Okay.
So because of the ongoing situation, and I would actually refer you to our website at tn.gov and go to Motor Vehicle Commission, because we have some bulletins and direction there for you. But that deadline has been extended to June 15.
Is that something I gotta, like, in order to get my tags, is something I gotta, when I get online, send whatever need, that they gonna mail them to me? Is that what's gonna happen?
Let me ask, Jason, will you jump in here and comment about what it is that I don't think you send anything to us. I actually think that comes from the Department of Revenue.
Sure. Can you clarify if you're talking about temporary tags or dealer tags?
What he was asking is, he's talking about the red dealer plates. And
The red dealer plates?
Which
If he has
expired.
not Okay, thank you. If he has not submitted his annual sales report yet, he wouldn't be able to obtain those. He would have to get those through his county clerk's office. So if you haven't done your annual sales report yet, go ahead and do that. And that'll make you eligible for your dealer plates, your red dealer plates.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
You're welcome.
let's
Thank
move
you.
on. Let's move on. Anyway, next is Executive Director Lawrence. You got a director's report?
I do, and I won't. I think everyone's got the report in front of them. I won't read everything. I just want to share with you that we have had 72 dealers opened or relocated since last quarter. We have over 21,000 licensees, which is broken down as you'll see on your report. We've collected total revenue from our annual sales reports of $29,600 thus far. We, as you know, keep up within the department in terms of metrics and how we respond to our potential licensees. And I am ecstatic to tell you that it literally takes us less than a day to turn around licenses. And that is due to the incredibly hard work of our really, really dedicated team especially since they've been working from home in, less than perfect circumstances. So I'm really, really pleased about that. One last thing I wanted to mention, and I did, excuse me, I did not include this in our report, but I know that Assistant Commissioner Compton mentioned this earlier relative to licensure for all of our programs and that being down. I actually ask our people to keep up with from when we began all of this in terms of where we were with our numbers for licensure. And we have been extremely pleased with how our potential licensees are responding during this crisis. I did a little comparison of the first 3 months of January through March 2019 versus January through March of 2020. And literally overall, we are down by less than 14% at a time when other programs are literally seeing a minimum of a 50% drop off, some as high as 90%. We are extremely pleased that our dealers, owners have been able to continue operating. We've literally had a dealer application at least one a day for the last month. So we're really, really pleased about that. One other thing I might mention is that we have been trying to stay in touch with our licensees via email and putting notices on our website, along with some press releases. We did a COVID bulletin to keep everybody informed about where we were in terms of when we thought they could open, close, what was essential, not essential. So we're doing our best. Obviously, some of our outreach has been put on hold because of the current stay-at-home order. But we really feel like things are going well, and I'm extremely, extremely proud of our people.
Very good.
That is all I have.
Do we have a motion to accept the executive director's report?
So moved. John Barker.
Second, Commissioner Galvin.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say, well, let's have a roll call vote.
Okay. Commissioner Levy.
Yes.
Commissioner West.
Yes.
Commissioner White.
Yes.
Commissioner Melton.
Yes.
Commissioner Chobanian. Commissioner Lee.
Yes.
Commissioner Barker.
Yes.
Commissioner Fox.
Yes.
Commissioner Galvin.
Yes.
Commissioner Norton.
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn.
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Kramer. Commissioner Evans.
Yes.
Commissioner Tomaso.
Yes.
And Chairman Roberts.
Yes.
The motion carries. The report is adopted.
Okay, next on the agenda is
Yes.
legal report. Excuse me. Next is the legal report by Ms. Smith and Mr. Huffman.
That's right. The legal review committee met this morning, and there are a few changes to the legal report. Number 15, 2019-100691. The change is to send a letter of warning with a drive-by inspection within 15 days. Number 68, 2020-007691. The change is to issue a civil penalty of $4,000 and refer to the Department of Revenue. Number 84, 2020-01-0171. And the change is to reduce the civil penalty to $1,500. Number 85, 2020-00-9311. The change is to increase the penalty to $2,500. And then I also did look up the respondent's license, and it's expired. Made an application. Number 94, 2020-00-9361. Changes to issue the $1,000 penalty and get a license within 60 days. Number 108, 2020-01-0011. The change is to issue a letter regarding curb stoning. This is not a letter of warning, more like a letter of caution. Number 115, 2020-01-3751 is to issue civil penalty of $1,250 and refer to the code's enforcement. Number 123 is 2020-01-3551. And the change is to issue a letter of warning about gray market vehicles. Number 171 is 2019-074-241 and 2019-07-5691. The change is to issue a $1,000 penalty and issue a bulletin in the trade association newsletters regarding this issue. And those are all the changes.
Commissioner Jackson, is that you speaking?
Yes, I lost connection, so I'm back on.
Okay.
I didn't get a chance to hear the changes, but I'm sure Attorney Hoffman probably got them corrected.
It was in accordance to what we had done in the legal committee.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Very good. Do we have a motion to accept the legal report?
Commissioner Jackson, make the motion to accept the legal report as the changes.
Commissioner Norton.
Second.
Okay, was that Farah? I mean,
Yes.
okay. Anyway, any further discussion? If you would do a roll call vote. Executive Director Lawrence.
This vote is to adopt the legal report as amended. Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Commissioner West?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Melton?
Yes.
Commissioner Chabanian?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Barker?
Yes.
Commissioner Fox?
Yes.
Commissioner Galvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Norton?
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer? Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Tomaso?
Yes.
And Chairman Roberts.
Yes.
The legal report is adopted. Commissioner Jackson?
Okay, let's,
Yes.
on the agenda is the legislative updates. Maria Bush, would you address us?
Yes, hi, this is Maria Bush. And right now we have two legislative updates that we submitted to the department internally for review. And if those are selected by the department to move forward to the governor's office, then I will keep you all posted. I worked really closely with the staff on getting these together. And basically, there's just two. One, it clarifies what kind of notice a dealer would need to give the commission when a salesperson is leaves the dealership, or whenever they are terminated from employment, or just to go to another dealership. And then the second one codifies the requirement that a dealer must comply with the commission's request for inspection of documents or records in the course of an investigation. And so this would give us statutory authority to discipline individuals who are not compliant with those requests. And that is all.
That's all? Okay. Do we have a motion to adopt the legislative update?
So moved. Commissioner Barker.
Commissioner Lee, second.
Any further discussion? Executive Director Lawrence, will you do a roll call vote for us?
I will. On the motion to adopt the legislative update, Commissioner Levy?
Yes.
Commissioner West?
Yes.
Commissioner White?
Yes.
Commissioner Melton?
Yes.
Commissioner Chobanian?
Yes.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes.
Commissioner Barker?
Yes.
Commissioner Fox?
Yes.
Commissioner Galvin?
Yes.
Commissioner Norton?
Yes.
Commissioner Vaughn?
Yes.
Commissioner Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Kramer? Commissioner Evans?
Yes.
Commissioner Tomaso? And Chairman Roberts.
Yes.
The motion carries. Commissioner Kramer?
Yes.
Commissioner Evans?
We already have the vote?
I'm sorry, yes, the legislative update is adopted.
Okay, good. I just kept hearing feedback and I couldn't understand what was going on. Next, committee reports, audit, there's no report. And rules committee, no report. So is there any new business? Any old business? If not, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Second it.
Did you get that, Executive Director Lawrence?
I got a motion and a plethora of seconds.
I just think we need to roll call this one.
All those in favor
No.
say
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, guys. I'm really sorry. This was
aye.
different. We appreciate your good. We really appreciate your patience and cooperation.
Okay.
Good job, everybody.
Everybody be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.